Hey, what's going on everyone? Vega here for Zsx Tech, and it's time for our monthly build series where we build out a crypto mining rig right now in the current market conditions and then look at the overall profitability of said rig. And in this month's build, the GPUs I chose are the RTX 2060. Now this is the 6 gig model, not the 12 gig model, but I'll have some data at the later part of this video. So right now the RTX 2060, you can get it on the secondhand market, 450, 440, sometimes 380 if you find it good and locally. But it really just depends, and it's going to require you to do a little bit of digging, maybe some stock drops, looking locally on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, what have you. Just be safe. Make sure you meet in a public space and that you're protecting yourself and your assets. But right now I have the average price of these GPUs around $460. The overall build and the parts are going to be linked in the description. But for the CPU, I selected the Intel Celeron G5900. It's a dual core processor. If you want to spend an extra 10 to 20 bucks, you could get an i3. That's pretty good if you want to use the CPU or the system for more than just mining. But this is just a 6 GPU rig because the motherboard itself, even though it is a decent motherboard, the MSI H510M-A Pro micro ATX, not RTX board, can get the job done for 6 GPUs. But if you try to go beyond 6 to 8, then you might hit some constraints, certainly with this chipset design as well as the number of slots, because we only have 1x16 slot and then 1x1 slot. Now we do have an M.2 that we can split off, but I really don't think this board can handle more than 6. If it could even get close to 8, you may get lucky, because most modern day motherboards can handle it. But moving on to memory, we got the G.Skill Aegis 4 gig kit. So we got total of 8, so 4 gigs each at DDR4 2400 speeds. Again, the memory speeds don't matter as much because we're focusing on GPU mining. If you were doing CPU mining, I would say get a Ryzen CPU with decent memory to help out in that aspect. Now, the ADATA SU635 is one of my tried and true. I have it on all my mining rigs. It's a 240 gig, 2.5 inch SSD. It's always around 25 bucks. Can't go wrong with that. And then again, the GPUs. Now the GPUs, as mentioned, is around 460 bucks. 460 times 6, we're around $2,700 for all 6 GPUs to get them in hand. Now to power those GPUs, the GPUs I think take 160, 165, if I'm remembering right, 160 watts per card stock. And I know that's not what we're going to run each card at 24/7. But you always want to prepare for that, especially when you're mining core-intensive algorithms like Ravencoin. You're going to be pushing the limits of your card. Now, you can tune it, bring it down to maybe like 120, 100. Some people have gotten really good efficiency out of these cards. But you always want to prepare for the max. You never know when drivers fail, your overclocks reset, and a number of other variables. But 960 watts, so 160 times 6 is 960 watts. We can get away with using just one EVGA G2 1300 watt power supply. Now this is an 80 plus gold certified modular power supply, but the prices on these are still up there, 260 bucks. Not bad though, considering that you only need 960. Even with the peripherals and everything, this power supply should be in its range as far as peak efficiency. It might be a little bit beyond it, but you can always change out the power supply with something a little bit better, like the HP server power supplies that Parallel Miner offers. Many of the mining rigs that you'll see out there, either have nothing but server power supplies, or they pair one server power supply with one ATX power supply, and you can easily do that and actually save some money. Just be mindful, again, to get the full 1200 watts out of these power supplies, you need to be on a 220 or 240 volt system, while most commercial or residential houses are only going to be 110, 120, depending on where you live. So those are your options. The Zsx Breakout Board from Parallel Miner is really good. It has all your connectors, 24 pin CPU power. It has 4 pin for fans, 4 pin PWM. It's got all your 6 pins for your GPUs. So plenty of connections to connect all your risers and your GPUs and then some, if not you could get the job done with, you know, just this EVGA 1300 watt power supply and some splitters. Also threw some fans on here. The RTX P12s, as I mentioned in previous builds, are decent. Not flashy RGB, but they get the job done. Decent RPMs, decent CFMs. So $22. So overall, right now, with what you see on the screen, it's going to be around $3,200 for the system. But we also have to add in additional factors or additional products. For example, if you're going to use the EVGA power supply and you're not going to go with the parallel miner, and even with the parallel miner, you may split out some of your connections. Now, you want to split out too much, but just be mindful of what the ratings are for 6-pin, 8-pin, and so on. If you haven't seen that, make sure to check out my guide on how to power your mining rig, or what are the specifications for the 6-pin, 8-pin, Molex, SATA, and so forth. Now, you could build a frame. I would personally recommend it, and there's no pricing on this one, but you can see it's around $50. If we go to this one right here, it's around $50. So it's not too bad. 6 GPU frame. You can build your own. You can use just a regular shelf. Get the 3D printed brackets to hold your GPUs on that shelf from Chump Change and many of our favorites out there to save some money, save the $50. Go to a hardware store, get some material, make it your own. Now here are the splitters that I was talking about just a second ago. You can split out, you know, a 6-pin to dual 8-pin if you really need it. Some of these cards though are just going to be a single 8-pin. Maybe the high-end models might be dual 8-pin, but I really think they're just mostly single 8-pin, or maybe a 6+8. It really depends on the model you get. Just bear that in mind if you split out that connection. There are plenty of good splitter cables out there that you can use. Now, personally, I used Deep in the Mines. It's orange and black cables, but I have also used some of these black sleeved cables, actually from this one right here, Amazon Choice. I can't remember the name of the seller. If I can find it for you, Team Profit. So these sleeve cables I have used. You just want to make sure you get good quality or decent quality cables, because oftentimes it's not the wire that fails, it's where the pin connects to the connector, or the wire connects to the connector, where it normally fails. And sometimes having poor quality connections can be a downside or a negative effect on GPU mining. Now, to split out this motherboard, again, they have one M.2, so we can use this one right here if we wanted to split out the M.2, or you could just get a buy one adapter that splits out to 4 USBs. That will give you a total of 5, so we are going to have to use the M.2 to get number 6 going, right? So we're going to split out the M.2, get one connection. We're going to split out this by 16. Maybe you can get 2 adapters, and that would give you 8 total if you really wanted to do that. Will this motherboard support that? I can't attest to it, but you could split it out and see. I just would say go with 6, right? Maybe even if you had 2 of these adapters with 4 connections each, I would still stick around 6 GPUs. Don't try to go too crazy. You may have to disable some peripherals in your BIOS in order to allow for more lanes. If you bump into error code 12 or error code 43, check out my video on that. But that will allow you to at least get 6 GPUs up and running. Get some risers, $50 for a 6-pack. I personally prefer GPUrisers.com's risers in general because of quality, but they are a little bit more expensive than what you would find on eBay. Now, I've used Ubit, I used FebSmart, FebSmart, these right here, I use Ubit. I even have a few of these running. I don't think they have it, but it's the protective metal around right here. The protective metal around the PCIe slot, the shielded ones. Those are okay. They're not too bad. I just always power everything with 6 pins. I never use SATA and Molex. And our buddy Bitsby Trippin has been doing really great content showing you the power draw for a 3090, for a 6700 XT, and how if you were using a SATA to power, you could wind up having a serious issue. Now, Amazon link for the 2060 is down below, but it's going to be a mixed bag. Here's a 2060 Super, here's the 2060 12 gig, so around $600 for that, versus the 460 on the 6 gig model. But yeah, these are still very high pricing, scalper pricing. Links will be down there. If you really do want to buy it through Amazon, go for it. But let's move on to the overall profitability of this system. Now, first off, I wanted to show Dizzy Mining the hash rate that they're getting. Now the RTX 2060 6 gig, I believe, can get around 30 to 32 mega hash, but this card specifically is getting around 36 mega hash with Dizzy Mining. This is a 12 gig card. So if you want to spend the extra money and just go straight for the 12 and get 6 of those, you can. Just know that the pricing is going to be different. Right now, if we had 6 of the normal 6 gig model, we will be making around $7.75 a day at time of filming. Again, don't look so much at the fiat value. Look at the Satoshi value that you would get. 0.0025 Ethereum a day, or 4.3, 4.2 flux a day, or 85 to 78 2,000 something BitTube Cash. I always look at the crypto value, because even though the market may fluctuate, you're still earning roughly the same amount of the cryptocurrency that you're mining, and really just a matter of stacking those sats and then selling when profits are high to cover your electricity, your bills, and all that good stuff. But it's basically anywhere from $5 a day to $6 a day, depending on your cost of electricity and the overall profitability. Now, if we were to mine Ethereum, we would probably break even in around 580 days. It says 572 right now. By the time you're watching this, it may be a little bit different. It might actually lower the time that it would take to break even because the market went up, or it may increase it because the market went down. But as I mentioned before, after electricity, 10 cents per kilowatt hour, you're only making about $6 a day with 6 of these 2060s. On Flux, it's still close to $6 a day, but it's going to take you 602 days or more to break even. On Ravencoin, it's going to take almost 800 days to break even, and that's because where Ravencoin is sitting in the market valuation. Things can change overnight, though, and Ravencoin is a strong supporter of the miners for such a long time, and then they're not planning on going anywhere time soon. But you'll be making around $4.20 a day right now at time of filming. Against the 2060 12 gig, though, these cards prices, if you could get it at Micro Center has it for $480, but you're gonna be, I averaged out the price to around $600. Like this one's $700, $664. So it really depends on which model you're getting, but it's gonna be around $600 for 6 of these GPUs. That's gonna be $3,600 on top of whatever peripherals you need, splitters, connections, cables, all that stuff. So you're looking around, I would say 4,200, because I calculated the price of everything on my parts list minus the GPUs, of course, and it was going to be 4,200, 3,600 plus the 500 or so with the parts, and that was factored into my total. And we can see here again at 1% fees, 10 cents per kilowatt hour, monitoring or using the information that Dizzy Mining provided, 216 mega hash, 600 watts or thereabouts, because it was getting 36 at around 99 watts, and your break even would be 540 days. Now it's actually 30 days less than the 6 gig card, but you're paying a little bit more up front. $2,760 for the 6 gig model, all 6 cards, versus $3,600 for the 12 gig model, all 6 cards. But with the 12 gig, you'd be making around $7.78 profit. So that's after electricity is paid and all that good stuff. It's about $7.80 a day, and your break even is much lower than the 6 gig model. So it's going to be up to you to make the best decision for your setup, your settings, your budget, and all that good stuff. But that is the build for this month. RTX 2060 6 gig, but the 12 gig is available and out there should you get it. I challenge you to check out content creators like Dizzy Mining and DJ Mines, who's going to probably put out some content here shortly on the hash rate of the 2060 for various algorithms and stuff like that. If I can get all that data for you, I'll put it in a nice little Reddit post like I normally do. But that's going to do it for today's video. I'm not sure if I said that twice, but anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful day. Please do me a favor on the way out, hit the like button. Don't forget to get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out the links in the description to help support us and what we do here. All the parts featured in this video or talked about in this video are going to be listed down below, pricing, links, all that good stuff. So definitely feel free to click them and help support the channel. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care.